Hello everyone and welcome to the round 9 player ratings video. As always, if you are new here and you haven't watched one of these videos before, first of all, welcome. Second of all, this is basically the beginning of the discussion. This is the therapy session, one of the few therapy sessions we'll have on the channel over the next few days. And what I like to do is I like to give my player ratings, and it's not an official end score. It's just more of a start the discussion, and then you guys finish it in the comments below, and we have good discussion about it, constructive. This is the place to be constructive because, the sort of the big statements, trade him, he's shit, fuck him, all of that just doesn't really suit what this video is all about every week. I like to really try and get into the nitty gritty with these player ratings and be fair, but harsh but fair. So anyway, it's just how I see it. Hope you enjoy it. Let's get stuck into it. As the team was announced, so Lockie, Plowman, Wiedering and Simo in the back line. Plowman, it was, for a lot of these defenders, I found myself noting down, like I didn't see a lot of them. Didn't need to do much in the first quarter. Pressure was so exceptional in that first quarter from the midfield and the ball just didn't go down there as much for the defender. So that's what I found with Plowman. There were two really good contests early in that second quarter. A few mistakes that then stood out to me, a rush kick, turnover, and then Gunston ends up missing that shot on goal, 13 minutes, 40 to go. He gave away a silly free with 10 minutes, 16 to go in the third to Gunston, who went on to kick a goal. So those are the ones that sting, and then he just got outmarked by Gunston in the fourth quarter, 4 minutes 20 to go. No pressure on the kick from Sam Walsh. If you remember, it was a moment where Walsh was told to play on by the umpire 3 times, just stands there. If he puts pressure on that kick, maybe it doesn't come in as with the same trajectory as what it did, but at the end of the day, Plowman was outmarked. And yeah, he, for the most part, I think he was sort of running around with Gunston for the most part. End of the day, he was part of a defence that conceded 89 points, part of a defence that made some errors and did some good things, did some poor things. I didn't think he won on the day, so I gave him a 4. Wiedering, another one who didn't need to do much in that first, just because it was all us. I thought in the third, he was just solid. Nothing really stood out. He was just solid. I found myself in the third quarter when it had turned to shit. The second quarter had happened and we had to respond. I found myself saying to him, he and Dougherty were the ones that were really standing out. He takes 2 really strong marks in that third quarter, and it was just, he's trying to get us going here. You could just tell, the calm head on him, and I was really pleased with very few today, but he was one that I was really pleased with. His ability to stay calm and do the right things. 9:50 remaining in the fourth quarter, great contest. He leaves his man at this crucial, pivotal moment, which we think's pivotal because we think we can still win the game, and he leaves his man, makes an impact on the contest, and that was just, reminiscent of Wiedering's game. I thought he was really good. I gave him an 8 for his game. I was sort of tossing up between a 7 and an 8, and I sort of thought, how can you give anyone an 8 in this game? And the way I watched his game, I really did think Wiedering was good. I did. So that's how I saw it. Simo, he was solid down back early, I thought he was. Then I didn't really notice him a lot throughout the game, and for whatever reason, I just didn't notice him. I didn't see much drive moving forward. I didn't notice him until 10 minutes 45 to go in the fourth quarter. He didn't get goal side on Wingard, who used his pace and outran him in the fourth quarter, kicks the goal. There was a contest, 6 minutes 29 to go in the fourth. It was not good enough in the contest with Gunston. Luckily, it was a missed shot on goal. But, it just wasn't. So I thought Simo played really well last week, and I thought it was a level below that. He ends up with the 11 touches, and obviously you don't want to get too stat-centric in how many disposals did they have and did they play good, but I thought it was a loss on the day, another one, because they're not children, and when they don't play well, when things aren't going well, I look to Simo, I look to Murph, so I have that added sort of responsibility, and I didn't get it. I didn't feel like I got it from Simo, and a few others as well, so I gave him a 4. I thought he was a loss on the day. Next up, Dougherty Jones, Petresky Seton. Dougherty, I noticed him a little bit up more up the ground yesterday early in the game, which was an interesting one. I don't know if that was something that you noticed if you were at the game, but I noticed him at contests more so on the wing and whatnot. I thought there was a great contest. He put his body on the line and earned a free kick, 13-20 to go in the second quarter. And at this stage, we're still playing pretty well. And I thought that was a really pivotal moment. Every time he puts his body on the line, for me, he's one of my favourites. You worry about him because of where he's come from. But having said that, he has to be able to get back to that stage where he's putting his body on the line, because that's what a leader does, and I thought he did that. So that was good. There was an inside 50, 12 minutes to go in the second quarter to Levi, who kicked a goal, and I think that was the moment where I'm like, if Levi kicks this, we're playing, we're winning this by 40. Man, this is just the kick that Levi makes. So there was that, and then third quarter, I thought he was stepping up. I really did. I thought he was stepping up and doing what he needed to. I thought his third quarter overall was pretty good. There was some errors though, and there just were. There were 5 clangers I think he made, and that's not Sam Dougherty. And he was one of a few leaders today who just made mistakes when the game was when the game needed us and our leaders to do what they needed to do. He made mistakes, and so it sort of takes off a little bit of his effort. I actually ended up giving him a 7 for his game because I thought the effort was there enough and all of that. And I'm obviously, as I've said all year, he's going to always be better in that second year off the 2 knees than the first. I don't want to give him too much of an out, and I know he wouldn't be doing that for himself, but as a fan, that's just what I'm looking at with him. And anyway, I gave him a 7. Definitely got to be better. He has to be like our best user of the football, because that's what he is. And so when he's got, I think it's 5 clangers, I'm pretty sure that's what it says here, 5 clangers, and that's tough. Liam Jones, just sad to see him playing like this. He's so much better. He's been so much better. Quarter 1, 5 minutes 45 to go. Terrible kick. Will Day kicks a goal. He just didn't even look. He just banged it on the left foot, I think it was, and landed in Will Day's hands, and it wasn't a good start because he's a leader, and obviously you don't need to see that from him, but we just had all the momentum in that first quarter, and so that was disappointing. He took the intercept marked with a minute to go in the first quarter, and I thought, okay, well, he sort of wrestled that back and made up for it. And then another direct turnover, 6 minutes and 6 seconds to go in the second. He wasn't on the same page with, I don't know who it was in the half-back line with his teammate. Jones was sort of in the defensive 50, and I don't know, there was a miscommunication. He kicks it, direct turnover, not good. A minute 12 to go. He just has a nightmare contest. Gunston kicks a goal in the second. He misreads the ball 20 seconds to go in the second quarter and lets an inside 50, which luckily I don't think it eventuated into much. He taps the ball to Wiedering under pressure, and another poor decision. And then 5 minutes 20 to go in the 30. He takes a really strong mark finally, and it's like, come on, Liam, can you just wrestle it back? And I know it wasn't his game, but can you try and wrestle something back here? And takes another intercept marked in fourth quarter, 11:47 to go. But listen, overall, again, I'm putting him in the same category as Doc. When the game was there for us to show up and hold firm, especially in that second, he was one of the bigger culprits. And it was reminiscent of the old Liam Jones and those poor mistakes. And I just thought he had a dirty day. Whatever, it is what it is. But the thing with Liam is, I think it's 2 of the last 3 have been a little dirty. You could argue that it didn't help, with Dixon and whatnot, because Dixon was flying and maybe that wasn't the matchup. I thought he was a little better last week, but yeah, he's not playing well at the moment. I back him in to obviously respond, but yeah, yesterday it's like, come on, you've got to be able to step out of the funk, and he just wasn't able to do that. And anyway, I gave him a 3 for his game. I've seen Liam Jones play fantastic football, and that's his capability. And I thought yesterday was far below his capability. So I gave him a 3, but obviously still back him in and love his work. Sam Petresky Seton, he had 4 in the first. I didn't notice him much. He got outmarked by Impey in that second quarter, 8 minutes 4 to go. A really good contest in the third. It was unfortunate because he was 13 minutes and 2 seconds to go. He really attacked the ball well. Just need to get the handball out. Didn't happen. Got pinned holding the ball. O'Brien kicks a goal. So that was disappointing. But I could see what he was trying to do. And he needed to do that. He's just got to be stronger in that contest, I guess. 9 minutes, 25 to go. Doesn't impact the contest. Goes to ground. Impey out the back. Runs into open goal from about 40 out. And that was the moment where I declared in my head that we had definitely were not winning the game. And yeah, when, Samo, I don't know. I just find myself saying, why is he playing in defence? But I also find myself saying Teague knows what he's doing and it's a coaching move and they're backing it in. I don't know if he played on Impey the whole game, but I did notice him around Impey quite a lot. But 8 touches, I don't know. If he's a defender and we're classifying him as a defender, well then we've got to criticise because he's in a defence that concedes 89 points. And then if you're saying, well, it was a lockdown role and, he played on Impey, Impey's had 11 touches and a goal. He played pretty well. So I don't know. It's end of the day, overall, I look at Samo's game and I ask the question, was it a pass mark? And I don't think it was. So for that reason, I'm giving him a 4. And we're starting to see a trend now. Next up, Walsh, Cripps, Murphy. Walsh thought he worked really hard in the first quarter and there was a moment there, I think, early in the second. I can't remember who the commentator was. It might have been Nick Revolt who was saying, "This kid, I'm here and I'm watching this kid work so hard and he's just not getting the reward with a disposal." So I did notice that from the television. And if you're at the game, I'd love for you to just confirm if that was the case. Quiet second quarter. I just didn't notice him. I just didn't notice big moments from him to the point where I don't have a lot of notes. 12 touches, it was okay. He goes at 75%. He was down on what he was last week and the week before. Umpire, there was a moment which gave me an insight into the mindset. Right, I think it was in the fourth, about 5 minutes to go. Umpire calls play on 3 times, and Walsh just stands there. And it's like he definitely heard him. You had to have heard him. It wasn't a full stadium. No pressure on the kick. The kick goes into the forward line, and it goes and Gunston takes a mark. And I just found myself wondering, Walshy, if you're putting pressure on that kick, I don't know if it goes in as long as what it did. And the reason why I'm bringing it up that moment is because it's a body language thing for me. And you're a leader now, Walshy. I get it, 20-year-old kid and young, but we've put him in the leadership category now. We've put him in the leadership group, which rightly or wrongly, early or late, whatever you want to call it. But when you're in that leadership group, that can't happen. That look, that, you've got to keep going to the last whistle. And I get it, preservation and all of that, but absolutely fucking not, mate. Like, that's not good enough, and he's gonna be fine. He's gonna figure it out. I'd be very surprised if that vision's not shown, to him as a way to get better, because that's what he needs to do to get better. That vision needs to be shown. Body language is important. I think Doc had a moment there as well where we had a free kick and he just sort of stood there and they got a goal over the top, which I forgot to mention. So anyway, with Walshy, I gave him, did he pass the day? I'm going to say no. I thought he was a 4. I didn't think he won the day, and therefore it's a 4. Cripps, he was really good early, like unbelievably good early. Really good game. He's an unreal tackle to pin Frawley in the first or second, I think it was, which set up the Levi Casbolt goal. He has 11 in the first, and the free kicks were there, and it was the Cripps game that I saw coming. I think a lot of us did, particularly in the first with umpiring. You can't touch him, you can't scrag him, and it happened. And then the second quarter comes along, and then it doesn't go our way, and then you require it to have leaders step up, and this is where his game becomes unstuck. Because 4 minutes 18 to go, takes the mark, strong mark, about 50 out, and he tries the Lockie Neal goal that he kicks on Lockie Neal and the other Brisbane players in, round 12 of 2019. He's sort of dancing around him and gets stuck, handballs backwards, cooks it, and it's like, I saw that, and I'm like, this is a guy who has played in losing football teams his whole career. a captain. The captain's meant to be the one that just knows what to do, and it's a learning experience for him. Obviously he's not young anymore, so we're not giving him the out, but you could tell some of these guys have played losing football for a long time, and that was that moment there. Just put the fucking ball to the top of the square if you're not going to make the distance. It's coming from a place of effort though, so I try and see it that way as well. I get it. He's trying to lift and he needed to, and He calls for a handball for Harry. I don't know if he calls for it, if Harry just gives it to him. There's that moment as well. And then it becomes the 2018 Carlton Cripps show. And yeah, we're playing bad football, but we've got a superstar who's doing really well and is getting 27 touches and 19 contested possessions and all of that. And, it's just, I don't want that anymore. I want there to be a rounded effort because it's winning football. And, and then he gets his moment. I think there's a minute to go in the third. Not good enough. Misses the shot on goal. Gettable goal. And moments come up through games when you're losing for your captain to take the moment. And he didn't take it. And it's definitely a learning block for him. He hasn't gotten that yet. I think what's happened is for some of these guys, they're good players. And our best players I'm talking about. So Cripps, Dougherty, they're really good. They've established themselves as really good players. Then you sort of get to a point where that bubble bursts, and then you've got to go to that next level. And I think him and Dougherty are now experiencing that, particularly as captains, because your captain has to be the guy who you can absolutely rely on at all times. And I'm at a point where if Cripps has a shot on goal, and it's an important shot on goal, I don't have that confidence that he's going to be able to make it happen no matter what. So that's something for him to get better at. But I thought overall he was really good. I thought he tackled 5 times. The contested possessions were there, and he wins the ball 27 times at 70%. He battles, and yeah, he makes some mistakes for sure. But still, I thought he still had a pretty good game. I ended up giving him an 8 for his game. I thought he was one of our best. His mistakes become highlighted because he's captain and high-profile mistakes, and when we needed a leader to stand up. I thought in terms of leadership, it was poor, but I thought, the game that he played was pretty good. So maybe I need to take that into account and criticise, but I thought it was pretty good. So gave him an 8. Murph, he's on the wing, good early in the first, 6 touches. And then he falls into this category with Jones. When the game needed the leaders to do the right thing, he wasn't doing the right thing. Turns it over with 7 minutes and 4 seconds to go in the second quarter. No pressure on him. He puts our defence at in a poor situation on the counter. Luckily they missed. It was alarming. I was like, Murph, what are you doing? You're Mark Murphy. Like, what the fuck are you doing? A broken tackle again on Impey, 8 minutes 20 to go in the third, and these are becoming a hallmark of his game that annoy me, and I'll explain in a minute. Then he kicks the ball in the fourth quarter, 12 minutes 24 to go, out on the full. So with Murph, he's gone. He was the prolific midfielder, in the side years ago. And then I feel like when you are that, sometimes you can get away with some mistakes here and there and defensive errors and broken tackles because you know what he's given you offensively. But he's stepped down from that level. He's not at that level anymore. So if he's not that prolific, ball-winning, classy player anymore, and he's in this phase of his career where he's a little older and whatnot, he now needs to have the hallmark of his game not be his class and his skill. It needs to be his effort and his endeavour and attack on the football and the man. And the reason why I say that is because it has to start from him. Guys like him and Simo and Jones and Cripps, it has to start there. And if he's not bringing the physicality and the mental, it takes a mental aggression to play with a finals football intensity where you've got to be tackling and whatnot. And he's done it. He's done it before. But it has to be the hallmark of his game now because he's the guy that the younger guys will look up to. And it was poor from Murph yesterday because I expect more from him. And when you're turning the fucking ball over the way he was, it's just he's I don't know. I know what's going on. He's gonna be okay. I know he's gonna be okay, and he's gonna have good games. But it's disappointing when he's a leader of the club and he's not playing like a leader of the club. End of for me, for whatever reason. And he draws this criticism, and people enjoy doing it. And yesterday it was almost justified, because he doesn't impose himself on a contest and help lift in that way. And I've made the argument why, that's not his game and all of that. Well, Cochin did it. Cochin made the turn from nice, prolific ball winner to tough enforcer. Boak made the adjustment. I think even Pendlebury's made the adjustment too. He's not a strong tackler, but when he tackles, he makes sure it sticks. And these are the guys I put Murph in that, that group. These are the guys he was drafted with, and I'm just not getting that from him. He's not the prolific guy anymore, and if he's not that prolific guy anymore, he's got to be a bit more tougher. And the broken tackles fucking make me so angry, because he's a fucking experienced, mature leader of the club. And what do you expect Zach Fisher to do when he comes in, and Sam Walsh when he's playing? What do you expect them to do when their leaders aren't able to do it? So that's where it just hurts. So I gave him a 4. Thought it was below a pass mark, and I gave him a 4. Half forward line: Martin, Casbolt, Gibbons, Jack Martin. Pretty much what he didn't do last week, he did this week. Took his opportunities, kicked his 2 goals. I think he had the same possession tally. So tackle pressure was unbelievable in the first quarter to set up his first goal. I found myself saying, again, his forward pressure is elite, which it was. The burst through from the tap from Moore in the second quarter was exciting. He is an exciting fella, for sure. He got put in the midfield to start the third quarter, which I thought was the right move. There was a moment there where Murphy gets into open space, handballs to him, and he needed to quickly handball back to Murphy and release him. He doesn't. He gets pinholed in the ball in that third. Strong mark in the fourth quarter, 15:44 to go for a goal, and you sort of think, hang on, this could be the start of something, and it was important. And then a missed shot that he can kick, 10 minutes, 12 to go in the fourth, the snap. Anyway, it doesn't happen. We don't deserve to win for other reasons. But yeah, I actually thought he did his job on the day. I think it was the 15 touches and the 2 goals. I thought he was pretty good. I can't really criticise too much. He was hard at the football. Pressure was great early, and I gave him a 7 for his game. Just, I don't know, it's hard. Can I give him a 7 and Cripps an 8? I don't know. I thought he was just a rung below, just below Cripps. I thought Cripps was just a little bit better than Martin, so that's why I've given him a 7. But anyway, it's semantics. Casbolt, I gave Casbolt an 8 for his game, and this is why. Strong mark, goal, first quarter, again in the second, gets a 50. Unfortunately, Pitterneck goes off at some stage with the rake to the eye, and Casbolt sort of starts rucking, but I thought he was just such a presence up forward. I thought we were getting him going really well, and then it sort of disturbed the flow of his game, and it was a bit of a domino effect. Kicks his 3 goals. He has a couple of hit outs, 4 marks, 6 touches. He probably died off a little bit towards the end, but yeah, it was just good. He was good. He was really strong. And he should be rewarded when he kicks his set shots and he kicks straight and he marks strong. And unfortunately, due to circumstances in the game, he had to be moved, and again, probably disturbed the flow of his game. So yeah, but I was really happy with him. I thought he did his job on the day pretty well. So gave him an 8. Gibbons, a kick to Harry, who kicked to Cunners for that goal in the first, and that's the only note I've got on him here. That's really all that stood out from him. Just 12 touches in the end at 50%, so just didn't use the ball well. He was thereabouts, and good player, but definitely not as good as what he was, for that 3 or 4 week patch prior to last week. So yeah, I just gave him a pass mark, just a bare pass mark. He might have even been a little bit lucky given that he's gone at 50%, but yeah, it was a so-so game, and you can just sort of see the trend of these scores, and it just reflects how we've played, I guess. Eddie Betts, I thought his pressure was absolutely there, especially in the first quarter. He pins Sicily holding the ball, third quarter, 15-10 to go, sets up H, who misses that shot. Tackle with 3:19 to go in the third on the wing to get that stoppage, which was a pivotal moment. Inside 50 to Martin for a goal in that fourth quarter, which was really good. I thought he was far from our worst. I ended up giving him a 6 for the game, just above a pass mark, because sort of his role, he doesn't kick a goal, which probably hurts him when you're in the side like that and you're an experienced head. But I thought the pressure was there. He leads the team in tackles on the day, equal with Curnow with 6 tackles. So that's there. So I can't question that. If you're not kicking goals, you've got to be putting a lot of pressure on, and I thought he put a lot of pressure on. So obviously we need goals from him, 1 at least. But that wasn't like last week. He was just sort of nowhere near it compared to this week. So I thought he was pretty okay, far from our worst. So gave him a 6. Mackay, a beautiful kick to Cunners inside 50 for that goal in the first. Strong mark, 50 metres out for the kick to Levi for his goal. And then sort of in that second quarter, you're thinking, why have you handballed to Cripps, mate? He was doing a lot of good work early and setting up other guys, and I thought he looked pretty good. I really did. And then that second quarter, it's like, I don't know, it's like they all got sucked into, this is the Cripps day. This is the Cripps show. He's the one that's going to do it. He's the one that's going to lift for us. And that was probably the body language that I was seeing from Harry when he handballs that ball over. Well, what are you doing, mate? You're Harry Mackay. That's okay there. You can go and have a shot there. I think anyway. I reckon he's well within his rights to go and have a shot there from 50, 52 out. And we miss it. But that's him. That's what he's there for. He's there to be, he's the prince right now. We want him to be King Harry, So, I don't know. He was really on the way to having a good game, and then he just sort of fizzled out. End of the day, he's had 6 touches, 5 marks, kicked the behind, and because he doesn't hit the scoreboard, I've given him a 4 because it's a below pass mark. I thought he was really, really good early though, and then it just turned. So provides a target, does all that. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. Maybe he should have got just a bare pass mark, but I'd look at it. Was it a win or a loss on the day? The Harry Mackay, position, and I say personally it was a loss. Therefore, I give a 4. Cunningham, so good to get his goal early. He took his chance. And then he just disappeared. Didn't see him. That was it. Didn't see him after that. Honestly, it was 4 touches and a goal. Took a mark. I reckon he had 3 in the first. I could be wrong on that. I think he had 3 in the first. He doesn't lay a tackle. And, Eddie Best doesn't kick a goal, but he lays 6 tackles. And Cunners, for whatever reason, it's a inability to get in the contest today. I gave him a 3 for his game. It was just not, it was one of those games where he's just not able to put himself in the contest and make something happen. And when you're playing in that position, more times than not, you probably got to create your chances, and you can't wait for us to be playing good football so you can get on the end of one. You've got to create something there, and the footy gods might repay you back. So disappointing from Cunners. Not a good game. Not a good game. Puts himself in the limelight now because we've got guys who are, in the reserves and wanting a game. So he puts himself just sort of in that mix. Is he going to get dropped? I don't know. We'll see. But I gave him a 3 for his game. Followers, Pitternet, Curnow, Setterfield. Pitternet, I thought the contest early to set up the movement to the Cunningham goal was just so exciting to see, and it was great. I thought he was really dominant early, dominant in the first quarter, and then just as much as what he was dominant in the first, he was dominated in the second. Not good. Just beaten, and he's a competitor, and we get that. But he was beaten. He pins McAvoy, which set up the Levi goal in the third quarter, and I actually didn't know until this morning when I checked just the overall team stats before I started recording. And this could be wrong, but I'm looking at this right now. The hit-outs are 18 to 42. 18 to 42 hit-outs. We end up winning the clearance battle 35 to 23, but the hit-outs, that's a demolition. That's a demolition. That's not good. And so I don't know. I originally thought he had a really good game, and I was going to give him sort of a 6 or a 7, and then I see that, and I'm like, well, he's lost. He's lost on the day overall. Clearly, he's lost. So I gave him a 4. It was weird. This whole time I had written down, 6-7, and the last moment I checked the stats, and it's like, oh shit, he's been beaten pretty well. So that was that. But would love your insight on that. Give us your view. Ed Curnow, I gave him just a pass mark. Thought he was really, really good in the first. 7 touches and 4 tackles. And then just, he ends up with, what is it? The 19, goes at 57%, 6 tackles. So it's there, but I might give him a 6 instead of a 5. I think he's just above a pass mark. But yeah, I did think he was pretty prominent early, and he always does give effort, always. 6 tackles, leads the team in tackles, and he's probably someone that I look at, with Murph, and, if it's not going his way, and, Ed's not the best disposer of the football, and we know that, and he knows that, but the effort indicators are there, and so for Murph, when he's not using the ball well, I want him to be doing what Ed does with the, leadership and the tackling and all of that. Make it your game some way else. So for Ed, 6. Setterfield, another one who's probably just not as good as last week. You look at him, Kennedy, Setterfield, Nunes, Walsh, probably 4 of our best last week, in terms of winning the ball 15 to 20 times each. Wasn't there today. He's handballing when the ball is spilling around. His ability to pick it up and get a handball out is really good. It was there yesterday early. Handballs to Nunes for his goal. Has the 6 in the first. And it just he just wasn't as prolific as the last few weeks. He's had a really, really good 4-week block, Will, and I probably said this after his second game. He's going to have a bump in the road, and today was that bump in the road. We need to sort of just remember where he's at. I think he's played 27 games of football, so there's going to be those along the way. The key for Will and for the rest of them, let's be honest, is don't let it become a trend. So, it's about bouncing back next week. 9 days off, plenty of time to figure it out. I gave him a 4 for his game. It was, did he win the day? It's always the same question. Did he win the day? I don't think he did. So it's below a pass. Interchange bench. Willow, Nunes, Kennedy, Moore. Willow, good tackle, and then a handball to space, 9 minutes, 10 to go in the first. I don't know if you're noticing this, but I'm noticing this. He continues to fall over week after week. It happened for 13 minutes, 40 to go in the second quarter, and it's becoming something I'm noticing every single week with him. I don't know what it is, but it's happening. So yeah, I thought he was. Don't know. Rest, raw stats say 10 touches, going at 90%. So he's used the ball well. Okay, so we'll give him that. Just didn't think we got from him what we think he's capable of just yet. It's not happening for him just yet. If Marchbank's fit, I personally look at that spot there to replace Willow. Not, to heavily criticise Willow, but I just think Marchbank can provide more in that role. So I think that's something to look for there. And he just sort of, he's it's good to get games into him, but now it's at some point, it's got to get to okay, Tommy, we need a little bit more. And, the endeavour and the attack and unquestionable, it's all there, but it's sort of just that. It's just, I think I'm finding myself wanting more, and I don't know, he's a hard one to grade. I think I'm going to really delegate this one to you guys. I gave him a 4 for his game. I thought it was just below a pass, and I don't know, I guess he's used the ball well, so maybe I should be giving him just a bare pass mark, but a lot of the defenders, I'm giving them below pass marks today because I thought they were let down by their midfielders who were getting even worse scores. So anyway, that's how I saw it. Nunes kicks his 2 goals in the first, and I've written here in capitals, where's the respect? Again, a guy who is not in the side to kick goals, kicks 2 goals in the first, and I don't know, it was unbelievable. He's really endeared himself to the footy club, and then he just goes quiet, and then that was it. He might have had 2 touches after quarter time. What does he finish off with the game? He finishes on 6. I feel like he had 4 touches in the first with 2 goals. If not, it was 3. So he's, and I don't know, I find myself it's really hard to grade his game. I've given him a pass mark, but I know that I always give a little bit more credit for a guy who kicks goals as a midfielder where that's not his role. So he's kicked 2, and I don't know, because he just went missing, for me anyway. I didn't see him, didn't notice him. Hard running, I'm sure, all of that. So maybe I'm being harsh, but I just felt like a 5 was appropriate. So that's how I saw that. Kennedy, I actually thought he was okay today. Not as good as last week, but okay. Pivotal mark in defence. I think it was off a Liam Jones kick. 10 minutes 4 to go in the first. It was a pivotal mark, sort of going back with the flight a little bit to set up the attack moving forward. I thought it was just a key moment. I loved his work in the contest. I really do. I love his spread from contest. He's definitely improved in that area. I've seen whether he's added a bit of a gear or a pace. It's definitely there. It's something that, I think his name's Daniel O'Keefe. Yeah, something that Daniel O'Keefe mentioned in one of the post-game reports for the reserves. So I did like to see that. He had a handball to Setterfield in a third quarter. He had to handball to Setterfield the third quarter, 7 minutes 30 to go, because we were out. He just made that mistake. He just sort of got himself all mixed up, went for a short dinky kick, and ended up being the one thing he needed to not do. So there was that. And I just thought he battled. You know, it was a workmanlike performance. He didn't win as much of the ball as last week. He has the 11 touches. He tackles okay, and I thought he was far from our worst, and I just gave him a pass mark. Gave him a 5 for his game. Callum Moore was next. Thought he looked really good early. I was really pleased for him. You know, good mark in the first quarter, but then he kicks it into the man of the mark, and it was just kind of like, all right, Callum, keep going. And then he got better. You know, he was good in contests early. There was stoppages where he was on Sicily at times. I don't think he played an actual role on Sicily there, but at times there was that. There was a beautiful ruck tap to Martin in the second quarter with 10 minutes 10 to go. And then, to be honest, after that was kind of it for what I saw from Callum Moore. And it begs the question from my end as a fan, that begs the question of, why is he playing over TDK? And then I trust Teague 100%. So he's obviously playing ahead of TDK because Teague believes that he's better than TDK right now, and he's trying to win games of football, and he doesn't believe that TDK in that position could do a better job. I don't know. I as a fan, I think Tom De Koning takes precedence over Callum Moore at this stage of our development, and development of where we're at in terms of where we want to be winning a premiership. And so I do ask the question, where's Tom? But he's backed him in. I love it. He backed his guy in, and now he's backed it up with a performance that was just, again, below. Is he straightening us up? Maybe. We're playing a 3 tall system, and this is what we're going to do, rain, hail, or shine, and I respect that. But, sometimes, I don't know, maybe there is a change that needs to be made, and you open yourself up for criticism when that performance happens. And I gave Callum Moore a 3 for his game. It's not, I don't want to get personal. I always want to show respect. It's something I've learnt over the years. I've mucked it up in the past, and I don't want to do it again. I want to show respect, but I want to be able to criticise as well. And I just didn't think Callum Moore got the job done. So it is what it is. Fair play to him. He's had another crack at it, and it looked good early, but it just didn't. I felt, when we're losing, and we couldn't get the job done with our fucking leaders, let alone Callum Moore. He's the least of our worries, but, he might be a bit of a scapegoat too, because Cripps won't get dropped, Murphy won't get dropped, Dougherty won't get dropped, neither will Simo, and Jones, and they made some bad errors today. So anyway, that's how I saw Maury's game. Well done, but it is what it is. Your turn. It's time for you guys to clean them up, because I've had my time to just settle. What about you guys? Have you settled? Have you is it still pissing you off? Let me know in the comments. Share all your thoughts. Put them all out there. Constructive. Like I said at the start of the video, this is the space to be practical about it, because I want to learn here, and I love your opinions, because I learn from each and every one of them. I learn about how emotional we are, how much it means to us, and I also learn a little bit more about the game, because I'm a student here. I'm watching it like a student each time. That's how I roll. That's how I do it. I'm not the authority, but I love the discussion. I really enjoy it. So with that, 9-day break, got the Eagles. We'll bounce back. Not the end of the world. 4-5. Go the Mighty Blues.